Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. So, today... oh, how sad I can't even get this stuff out. You know, this stuff is so comical to me because it's so silly, but it's so true, you know. The thing is, we live life doing the most silliest things and seeing things from the most silliest perspectives. And that's not to say that we can't, because obviously we are, so therefore we can. But it's just funny to me, you know, because it doesn't have to be like this. But hey, you know, if you want your life to be a certain way, then you live your life a certain way. You live your life the way you want it to be. For instance, the topic that I'm going to talk about, which is life isn't hard. There is nothing about life that is actually hard. It's actually quite simple. The choices are simple. When we learn what the right thing to do is, when we learn what love is, when we learn what the loving thing to do is, it's quite clear. It's very clear. And the thing is, even people with mental illnesses can see the right course of action. They can see the action. They can see the outcome from the action. Even a child with who has developmental issues, they can learn to a certain degree. They understand what to do, what not to do. You know, so for someone who doesn't have any of those issues going on, it is very clear. It is crystal clear as to what is needed from yourself in order to have a better outcome, in order to have the most desired outcome. And so when I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, you know, life isn't hard. Really, it's not hard. It's just there are choices, and we don't want to make the right choices. Meaning we don't want to choose the right thing. We don't want to choose the truth. We don't want to choose the loving thing. We just don't want to choose. It's just that simple. It's not hard. The choice isn't even hard. The choice is easy. All choices are easy. The issue is there's other things that are more important to us in the moment. And so we choose that course of action. So let's say, let's say someone's overweight. Keep it simple. And they understand that they're eating unhealthy foods. Yep, they've read about it, they've heard about it on the news, from friends, read it in magazine articles, they've done research, whatever. Doctor said, hey, you gotta stop eating like this. And they're like, okay, I know, because if I continue to do this, I'm going to lose my eyesight. If I continue to do this, I'm going to lose my legs. If I continue to do this, I'm going to lose my kidneys. I'm going to lose all these different things, my liver, blah, 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 blah. They hear it all. We hear it all. We see it all. We know it all. But then we continue to do it. The choice is clear, and it's not a hard decision. The thing is, we want to choose the continued behavior. We want to continue the action that we've been taking, despite all the information that has been presented to us. Because this is what happens to me when I tell people about truth, about love. They're like, yeah, gosh, that makes so much sense. Ooh, I can see that. And then they continue doing the bullshit. But the choice is easy. All you have to do is stop. But back to the overweight person. But the person loves the taste of the cupcake. So they continue eating the cupcake. Why? Because that is a desire of theirs. Their desire isn't to lose weight, and their desire isn't to be more healthy. Their desire is to have more cupcakes. Their desire is to have, to put things in their mouth that taste really good. So they want the fried chicken and the steaks and the whatever it is that they're eating. The potato chips and the sodas, that's what they want. Even though they know otherwise. The choice isn't hard. The thing is, we desire other things in the moment. Therefore, the only choice for us to make is to satisfy our desire. That's the choice. That's the only choice. It's to satisfy the desire. That is the choice for them. There is no other choice. That's what they want. That's what they do. Same thing in relationships. Someone can get in a relationship that's abusive. They know it's abusive. The friends tell them it's abusive. The family members tell them it's abusive. Their counselor tell them that it's abusive. The therapist, psychiatrist, whatever, they all say, hey, it's abusive. You got to get out. I know. And then they stay and they get another black eye. They get a broken arm, bruises all over their body. That's what happens. Now the kid, if they have a kid, the kid gets thrown around. Why? Because they choose something else. They choose the affection when it's there. Their self-esteem, self-worth, their value is almost non-existent. So the only choice for someone like that is to continue the path that they're on. That's the only choice that they have in their eyes. But the choice is easy, and the choice that they're making is the most easiest for them. It's the easiest for them. It may sound crazy that someone would choose to be beaten all the time, but that's their choice. It must understand that whatever their desire is so much stronger than not being hit, than not being abused, than not being cheated on. Choice. The life is not hard. They're making the easy choices. The easiest choice for them to have whatever they need satisfied. So when it comes to like truth, when it comes to love, when it comes to things that I talk about in my videos, it's not that difficult. Just do it. The thing is, I don't have, like I think I said in my last video, I don't pander into anyone. I don't expect anything from anyone. Therefore, I'm not controlled by anyone. Because when we expect something from someone, we are at their mercy. We are at their mercy. When they have something we want, we're at their mercy. We do whatever it is that they want so we can get what we want. That's not a hard choice. That is the choice. You are making the choice. That is the easiest choice for you because that is the choice that satisfies your desires the most. Someone may want to go to school and be a nurse. Let's say a woman wants to go to school and be a nurse. But the boyfriend doesn't want that. So what does she do? She doesn't go to school and become a nurse. Why does she do that? Because his attention, whatever he's providing, is so much more important to her than going to school and being a nurse. Life isn't hard. It's just a bunch of choices. It's just the choices we make to satisfy our desire, whatever our desire is. The problem is most people don't know what their desire is. And that's what makes it seem difficult, what makes it seem so hard, because they want to do these other things, but they don't understand, they don't see, they don't recognize, they don't comprehend, they're not consciously aware of these underlying desires that are being met. Why? Because they're being met. When you're in a relationship and it's abusive, you don't really focus on that. You focus on all the things you're getting, as most people do. They focus on all the things that they're getting. What are you getting out of this relationship? Well, he pays my bills. He takes me out to eat. He buys me clothes. He gets my hair done. He gets my nails done. I don't have to work. It just depends on what it is. So, what do you get what does he get in exchange? Well, basically he gets to use me as a punching bag. He gets to take out all his anger and frustration out on me. And then after he's done, I get all these beautiful things. And that is the case for some people, not for all people who get beat. They're getting something else. Some women are afraid to go out and do things on their own. So what happens? There's this fear within them. So what they do is they stay in situations or put themselves in situations that sustain this feeling. I can't do it because I'm afraid, I don't know how. So they meet someone who tears them down to reinforce that their belief about themselves. It's their desire, but to them it's an unknown desire. They don't see it because that desire is being met. We never see what we're getting while we're getting it, and it's that saying that goes, you never know what you got until it's gone. Because when you have it, you don't realize it, but when it's gone, you realize you had something, and now you know that it's gone. So most people don't know what their desires are because they're being met. I see this all the time with people. Just a short, brief period of interaction I see. And I'm like, I can see your addiction. I can see it. Oh, you're pandering. Oh, you're pandering. I can see it both ways. Both ways. You know, it's interesting. Dates. When I see people out on dates, they are working their magic. Both sides working their magic, appealing to the other person. trying to remain neutral, reading the other person, seeing what they like, agreeing with them. Oh, it's so easy to read people. Everyone knows how to read people. Even the person with the mental illness knows how to read people. We have so many clients and they know how to use the system. They know. They're like, oh yeah, so I know if I'm a client and I have a mental illness, this is how they come to. This is how they come. This is their approach. They know that we pay for housing, we pay for school, we pay for books, we pay for clothes. We give them Target cards for all kinds of things. We pay for furniture. We pay for everything. We pay for all kinds of stuff. So, what do? We attend a few groups, go to the sessions with their therapist, don't talk about anything. Not that the therapist can really help them with much, but hey, they're there to do whatever they're there to do. And so they do. They go with the flow. But what are they getting in return? Rent paid, furniture, clothes. They get all this stuff. They just get stuff. But when you look at the progress, there's no progress. Missing in action, still doing their drugs, but they're getting their stuff. They're not there to change. They're there to get things. And so they'll make it seem like I'm participating because that's the only requirement is that you participate. The requirement isn't that you have progress. It's such a crock sometimes, you know. But there are people out there who do want help and they look for the help. And there are individuals who go there for the therapy. And they're not looking for handouts. They actually want to work. They don't even want to receive SSI. They're like, hey, I don't want that. I want to work. Some of them can't work, but they want to work. Their desire is to work. So I'm not saying all of them don't want to do anything with themselves. That's not what I'm saying. But anyway, back to the subject. We all make choices. And they're not hard choices. They're just the choices that benefit us in the moment. And when I say benefit us, they're things that we desire, things that we want. And so we make the choices to get those things. And we really don't care about anything else. We don't care about anything else. The same thing with the example that I had used with the relationship. You know, there's someone who's abusive in the relationship. All right, the person becomes abusive, knocks someone else around. It could be male or female. There's a lot of women who knock men around because there are certain men who won't put their hands on a woman, and a woman knows that, so then she'll just beat the hell out of him left and right. He ends up in the hospital, and she doesn't. It happens all the time. All the time. So, you have a situation like that, and... Hold on a second, I need to get over. You know, and then the person, after the person has released all of their rage from their demon spirits who are obviously attached and kind of not creating it, but could be creating it, but basically fueling the fire. They're there doing their thing, getting their release of anger by the person being thrown around and whatnot, knocked around. Should I get off on this thing? Let me see. Hold on a second. So, anyway, they're pretty long. Those are 3 lanes deep. How the hell am I supposed to get over there? Just do it, Bradley. I could have gone there. I can't do everything. Right here. One Murano for another. There we go. Smooth like butter, baby. Smooth like butter. So, you know, one gets knocked around, and then after all their rage and anger is released and thrusted upon the person, they're black and blue, possibly bleeding, crying in the corner, curled up like I don't know what. And then they're like, I'm sorry, baby, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just get so something comes over me and I can't control it. And that may very well be true, but that doesn't change the fact that you allowed yourself and other beings, non-physical, the ones you can't see, to use your vessel as a form of expression to release their anger and rage. Like, that doesn't change that didn't happen, or that doesn't change that happened. And so they're like, I'm sorry, I'll work on it. Here, come here, let me help, let me clean you up, all that, I'm sorry. But the reason why they're truly apologizing is because they want to be able to do it again. And if they can convince you that everything is going to change and it's going to be better next time, and I'm going to change and I'm going to go to counseling, or I'm going to stop my drinking, that doesn't change the fact that in maybe a month after they're kind of healed, they're not going to get beat again. They're securing their addiction. And most people don't see it like that, but that's what they're doing. They're securing the addiction. And if you are the one being abused, or you know someone who's been abused, verbally, physically, doesn't really matter. If you know someone like this, then you know that it's been happening for some time. And that's them securing their addiction. You are the addiction, and so you stay. You say, you know what? I am worth shit. Because that's basically what you're saying, because that's how you feel inside. You feel like you don't have any value, you don't have any self-worth, you don't think you have anything to contribute to anything. So you stay there, and you allow yourself to be a punching bag, whether it's verbally or physically. And that's how it works. But you're making a choice. The choice isn't hard. There's another option. Walk away. But then you're faced with the other things. The real fears, the real reason why you're staying there and getting hit and beat and abused. You don't feel you can make it on your own. Maybe you chose someone that your family didn't approve of, and now you didn't. Maybe you couldn't see it in the beginning, but now you see it, and now they've already disowned you. And now it's hard to go and get help. And the thing is, you'll say, "But I still love her, or I still love him." Again, a choice. But it's really not love, because love has nothing to do with pain. What it is addiction. Your low self-worth and their low self-worth coming together creates what you have. Any abusive relationship, any abusive situation that you're in is based on two people not loving themselves. Two people having a very low opinion of themselves. Their ability is the ability that they see themselves having is almost non-existent, which is why they're so frustrated, which is why they're so angry, and why you're willing to absorb the anger. If you loved yourself, you wouldn't put up with that. If anybody loved themselves, they wouldn't put up with that. They would leave. Even if your soul is so dark, and this is the law of attraction that is happening to you, coming to you because you're attracting it to yourself, even if that's happening, if you realize this is not what I want, because a lot of times we get what we don't even know is within us. And this is why we have the physical experience, to show us, because we can't see our soul, we can't see what's within us, we're so disconnected from ourselves. We have to use the physical world to understand what's within our soul. So if you get beat, it's because you are a magnet to that. You are a cooperative component to that. You know what? I don't know if I want to deal with all of these cars this morning. I'm tired, so I don't know if I have the energy for all this, but you know what? I'm just going to get in right here. I'm not going to mess around with these people. Yeah, we need the physical world to show us what's within us, what dwells within our soul. And that's why we get what we get. But what I was saying is, if you experience something like, whoa, hey, I don't like that, and you walk away, that's you loving yourself. You may not know why it's happening. You just know that it is happening, but you know enough to walk away. You know enough about it to say, hey, I don't like this feeling. I don't like being lied to. I don't like being lied to. I don't like being cheated on. I don't like being hit. I don't like being deceived. If these are the things you don't like, then you walk away from the situation. You walk away from the person you walk away from the people who are doing these things. It's not hard, people. Life isn't hard. It's just you're choosing something else that's creating the pain. I had to make a choice, have a family member in in the hospital. I was just notified maybe a week ago, maybe last week I think it was, or maybe this week, maybe it was this week. Earlier in the week, I was told that I have an uncle in the hospital and he's not doing too well and he may not make it. And, you know, I knew something was up because there was some weird activity on my Facebook. And I usually don't see this type of activity, but being that I know my family, I kind of had a feeling something like that was going on. I just didn't know who it was. I didn't know who was sick, but I knew someone was very ill. Just by the activity that I was seeing. And it wasn't even, they weren't even saying words. They weren't even writing words. This is how well I know my family. So I was like, okay, because, you know, no one's direct in my family. Everyone wants to suppress things and beat around the bush and, you know. So I was just noticing the behavior and I was like, okay, something's going on. But, you know, it was like, okay, I don't know who it is. You know, obviously they're not informing me, so it's none of my business. So then another family member said, hey, did you know so-and-so's in the hospital? I said, no, but I had a feeling something was going on. He must have been in there for a while. And they're like, yeah, he was in there for about so-and-so time. And I was like, okay. But I won't be going to the hospital. And if the person passes, my uncle passes, I won't be going to the funeral. And the reason why this is because my uncle doesn't like me for whatever reason. I don't know why. I have a feeling why, but it's nothing that I've done. It's just his view of me, and that's it. And that's all. Like, we've never had any kind of altercation or anything like that. So I know it's not anything directly related to him. So I already know. I already understand that. So, you know, it's like, okay, I had to make a choice. I had to make a decision, and the decision is this. First of all, some of you know the dynamics of my family. They're not really too fond of me. Okay, fine. And they have never really been fond of me. One, it started with me being half black. Okay, fine. You get older, you know, whatever. But then other thing, especially recently, because my views have changed. My views have changed on so many things where I don't see family how most people see family. I don't believe that we should always stick together, especially if they're unloving. I think if someone's unloving, you need to remove yourself from that. I don't care who it is, whether you're friends, family, strangers, it doesn't matter who it is. Coworkers, you remove yourself from those people who are unloving, because if you stick around, you are making a choice to be one of their victims. You are making a conscious choice to be one of their victims. It's a choice. It's not a hard choice. It's an easy choice. And the easiest choice for me is to stay away from these individuals who don't like me. Why would I want to be around people who do not like me? And why would I want to go and pretend like I'm here to support someone when I know they're not fond of me? Don't you think that would just make them more angry? And if they're in critical condition, I don't think they need any anger. So I'm being more loving by staying the hell away. Now, when it comes to funerals, why would I attend? Like, do you think someone would want me to be there if they don't like me? No. So the best choice, the only choice, is for me to stay away. This is what they want. I'm being loving to myself. I'm respecting their wishes, and everything's good. But here's the thing. Most people who aren't that person can't understand that. Family members do not understand that. Friends don't understand that. They're like, whatever, you put your differences aside. The thing is, I don't have any differences. I don't, one way or another, if the person, if my family member was like, hey, you know what, let's, whatever feelings I've had towards you, I put them in the past, let's move forward. I would be willing to do that. But that person has not reached out. So we're not going to go there. That's not something that's possible in this moment. So I have to take a different course of action. I have to take the action that is best suited for myself and the other person. What is more loving to myself? Would you, if you knew there was a murderer, this person who just likes to harm people, if you knew these people existed, would you be in their company? No. Just a murderer is no different than someone who has judgment. They want to be unloving. They want to anger and hatred upon you. They want to project condemnation and judgment upon you. It's no different. It's the same thing. They're just different actions. Born from the same place, though. a place where they want to inflict pain, inflict harm upon another. It's all the same, people. So if you know someone doesn't like you, you have to make a choice. The hard part about it, for those who call it that, is the judgment and rejection of the people who are not involved in that. So there was a part of me that was like, well, you know, what is the family gonna say? Then I had to come to reality. It's like, who gives a shit what the family says? This situation is between me and my uncle. It's not between anybody else. So other people's opinion, it's irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant. They should go if they have a good relationship with them, then they would want them to be there. But I'm not afraid of what anybody is going to say about me doing or not doing what I feel is best for my life. That's the easy decision right there. And I feel no anxiety about it. So I would feel anxiety if I'm around someone who I know doesn't like me. I would feel anxiety if I know that all these people are judging me. So why put myself in that situation? The choice is easy. Life is not hard. But you have to be okay with your choices. You have to be okay with it. And the thing is, most people are not okay with the choice of truth. Most people are not okay with the choice of love because they're missing out on something. They're missing out on the addiction. If I cared what my family thought about me, I would be there. I would have already been there. At the hospital, in the waiting room, lined up in the hallway like everybody else. See, this happened before. And it was the most craziest thing to see, because at this time, like, I didn't know the family was fractured the way that it was. I didn't know, because I don't talk to them on a regular basis. So one of my uncles, he was in the hospital. My aunt and my uncle were in a car accident. He was in critical condition, and he ended up dying. And we all showed up. I think, yeah, I lived in Los Angeles at that time. We all showed up, and I saw family members who were sitting. They weren't all sitting in one waiting room. They were scattered. A group of people were sitting in one waiting room. Another group of people were sitting in another waiting room. People were grouped in hallways, like 3 people together, down the hallway away from everybody else. And then you had another group of people. And I'm like, I looked and I was like, it looked weird to me. It looked so weird because it's like, okay, everyone's here because our uncle is in the hospital in critical condition, but nobody wants to talk to one another. Okay, like, what's going on here? Like, obviously you're not there for the person, because you would come together understanding what's going on. The family's there, especially the immediate family. I mean, the children were there. He had I think 3 kids. 4 kids. 4 kids. And it's like, it was just the weirdest thing. And it's like, I see people showing up and being fake about it. And I was like, that was the weirdest thing. I think that's the last hospital event that I went to. And I don't think I'll be attending anymore. And I wouldn't expect anyone to come to my funeral or visit me in the hospital. I think one time I was in the hospital, nobody even knew I was in the hospital. I had to tell one person. I had to tell my sister, because, you know, if something did happen to me, then, you know, my house and all that stuff, and she just needed to know if things needed to be taken care of on that end. But I didn't let anybody know. For what? To me, I don't see it, but that's the thing, is I don't need that type of support, or I should say I don't desire or crave that type of support, because I have an understanding that whatever I'm experiencing, I've done it to myself. Nobody else did it to me. And so I don't require anyone else to say, oh my gosh, you know, I hope you feel better. It's like, if I'm going to feel better, it's going to be because of me. It's not going to be because of anyone else. It's going to be my soul condition. Am I looking at what is making me sick? Am I looking at changing my life? Am I looking at doing things differently? Am I looking at feeling differently? Because that's why people heal. Now I can understand that when you have support, they can encourage you and you can feel different about yourself. But again, that goes right back to being governed by those who surround you. And I'm not governed by people who surround me. So another person's word isn't going to make me feel any better about myself or my situation or my condition. This is why I don't like getting these certificates and awards. It's like your words don't have the impact you think it has upon me, because I know who I am. And I don't require, desire, or rely on the encouragement from others in order for me to do better for myself. That's not what's going on. And I'm very strong in that. Like, even growing up, I looked at people and like, oh, you do such a great work, or you do great work, or this is such a good job. And I looked at them like, well, what are you talking about? Like, this is normal. Like, I'm supposed to do good. Are we not supposed to do good? Are we not supposed to improve upon ourselves? Are we not supposed to think clearly? Are we not supposed to figure things out? So when people require praise for figuring things out, I'm looking like, Jesus, like, you're governed by other people. You're not even governed by yourself. Like, you don't even have it within you to, sorry, my phone moving. You don't even have it within you to motivate yourself. You don't have it within you to know if you did a good job or not. Like, you have to literally wait for other people to say, oh, you did a great job. Like, these people will never have total control over their lives, because other people have control over their lives. Other people have control over how they feel. Most importantly, that's the most important thing to understand, is other people are controlling their feelings, whether they feel good or feel bad. That's why when people say, oh, you know what, you're an asshole, or you're worthless, or you're this, their whole world crumbles. They crumble inside because they have no foundation for themselves. They have not created a foundation for themselves. Whatever foundation they have is based on other people. And so it's going to shift and change all the time, because people are always shifting and changing their words, their opinion, their views. One day someone will like you, one day someone will hate you. And you're going to respond to that each and every time. And so you have to ask, oh, they moved all the homeless people from here. So you have to ask yourself, do I want to continue living life being governed by other people? People are governed by news. People are governed by magazine articles. People are governed by advertisement. People are governed by their families. People are governed by their friends. People are just governed. And they need to get out of that. If this is you, you need to get out of that. If you want to experience freedom, if you want to experience your own power, if you want to experience the unlimited power that the Creator has given you, you're going to have to step out of that and step into your own. It has to happen. And it's not hard. It's a choice. But you have to give up all the fallacies that you have. All the falsehoods. All the falsehoods that you hold, you have to give them up. And that's the thing. Most people don't want to give them up. Why? Because it's giving them so much. Emotions, feelings, they're getting it all. They make me feel good. I get praise. I get thanked. I get recognized. Other people are doing these things. Other people are thanking you. Other people are recognizing you. Understand? But when you recognize yourself and you praise, I praise myself all the time. I'm like, damn, I did that. It doesn't matter if it's something at work. If I try it for the first time, if there's something that I'm trying to do and I don't know how to do it, but I attempt to figure it out, I'm doing my research, I'm working it out, I'm like, damn, I did that. I did that. Nobody else did that. I did that. And so I praise myself. Who else is going to... Look, of course other people can, but you're not building a strong foundation for yourself. Like, you're not creating a strong being. You're still dependent. Anybody who is dependent upon someone else is weak. Weak. I'm telling you, weak. Which is why you can't get out of the situation you're trying to get out of now. Or I should say, which is why you can't get out of the situation that you wish you were not in right now. Because you're weak. You have not created a strong foundation for yourself. You have allowed other people to govern you. I don't know, people pilling out and honking back there. Oh Lord, pickup trucks and Jeeps. Uh-oh, testosterone on the road. That's just as bad as estrogen on the road. But anyway, yeah, it's, you know, Jesus, people, Jesus. Hold on a second. Man, you know, everything that I'm saying in this video is true. And it is the truth. And those of you who are not experiencing the things that I've experienced, you can see it. Those of you who are experiencing these things, you may not be able to see it. And you may be able to see it. I know someone who I know will be able to see it. But that doesn't change the fact that what is happening is currently happening. And the reason why it's happening are for the reasons why I stated in this video. But I can tell you, life isn't hard. It's just a series of choices. And so I have, in my, you know, for myself, I have recognized that, you know, my family wants me to be a certain way. In order to be liked, in order to be accepted, they need me to be a certain way. It's not a want, they need me. That is a hard need that they have in order for them to accept me. Because they can't accept me in the form that I am in now. Not until they change. I can accept them actually from afar. Like, I don't hate them, I just know that they're in a degraded space. And because they're in a degraded space and they don't recognize their degradation, all they know how to do is put people in, or cause pain for others. That's what I know. They may not see it, but that's what I know. That's what I see. That's what's true. And I'm not saying all my family members are like that, because all of them are not like that. But it is, the thing is, like, it's mixed. It's mixed. And so some family members who don't see me in that light, they don't condemn me or judge me for who I currently am. They may not approve of, you know, my life, but they have never made me feel any less than. So, but they do associate with the people who do. And so I have to ask myself, well, these are the people they choose to associate with because they do have that belief that family has to stick together no matter what. They do believe that. So they surround themselves by people who, I should say, they surround themselves with family members who harm others. And so they are accepting of that unloving behavior. I'm not accepting of that unloving behavior, so I stay away. And that's fine. The thing is, you know, the people who I'm saying don't really condemn me or judge me, I don't get any outreach from them. Now, when I was younger, or I should say in my early adulthood, I would always reach out to them. But I realized I was the only one reaching. And when I stopped, all communication stopped. So what does that tell you? That tells me something that I didn't see before. They were tolerant, meaning they don't quite approve, but they're not going to openly reject me. But if they had a choice, they would have nothing to do with me. That's what that told me. And so I had to recognize the truth. And the thing is, because I recognized the truth, I didn't try to hang on or cling to something that really wasn't there, which allowed me to make the decisions and choices that I'm making right now. I'm most happy now because I have the freedom to live and do what I want to do and how I want to do it. That's the freedom that I have. And the freedom is a good feeling. Versus always living on lock because of someone else's approval. Life isn't hard, people. The choices are easy. The choices are all there. But what makes it hard is we don't want to give up the addiction. We don't want to give up and the thing is, and here's the thing about that, which is so interesting. we're not giving up anything. We're just afraid. It's like we're afraid of the experiencing pain, which is why we don't make the loving choice. Because most people feel that if I make the loving choice, someone's going to be mad at me. Someone's going to be angry at me. I'm not going to be able to rely on them. I'm not going to be able to depend on them. If I'm ever in need, these people are not going to help me anymore. That's the biggest fear. But if you had this sense of worth and sense of value, if you had this sense of, I can do anything, I'm capable, and I am supported by the universe, and I am supported by the Creator, you wouldn't need to depend on all these other people around you. Because you would know that the Creator has your back, the universe has your back, and if you love yourself and live in truth, then you have your own back. And that's what the universe is. The universe is only responding to you. So if the universe has your back, it's because you have your back. If you feel that you can have any and everything that you desire, then the universe will give you any and everything you desire. But if you're living in fear and you don't think that you can have freedom, and you have to be surrounded by these people who abuse you, guess what? That's what the universe gives you, because that's what you feel you deserve. That's what you feel you are worthy of. So my life has gotten better because I haven't depended on anyone else to provide anything for me. I know that things flow to me easily and effortlessly. I know that I am supported by the universe. And I do also understand that I don't need other people to provide anything for me. These people this morning. That I understand. I don't expect anyone to do anything for me. And that's not to say that they won't ever do anything for me. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that my family would never come to my aid if I needed it. I'm not saying that. Of course, I do believe some people would. It wouldn't be for the right reasons. It would be because of their own issues that they're having. Guilt is one of them. Guilt is a huge reason why someone would come to my aid that's related, or who is related to me. Isn't that why most people do things for other people? Guilt? Shameful for the neglect, the previous neglect. So they want to eradicate that. They want to erase it by doing good deeds. Isn't that what a lot of wealthy people do? They screw everybody so they have all the money, and then they look at the poor people and say, oh, let me start a charity, let me start a foundation. Even though those charities and foundations don't even scratch the surface of the damage that they've done by the unloving things that they have carried out in order to get the massive wealth that they have. Guilt and shame. People, guilt and shame. Because if you had true love, you wouldn't have exploited anybody in the first place. Take the medical insurance model as an example. Sure, they charge outrageous amounts of money for procedures, excuse me, bankrupting people because it's so expensive to get health care. And they charge them all this money. And then they have this small part where they're like, okay, we have this small nonprofit or, a charity where, we do give people, because there's this thing where it's for, they have these different programs, I should say, where if you're not able to afford medication, AstraZeneca and other, pharmaceutical companies will basically give the medication for free. That's their program that they have. But it's only possible because they're exploiting all the other people who are actually paying for it. The insurance companies who are paying for it. The people who are paying for it out of their pocket. It's because of all this money that's being accumulated from all of this exploitation. Because, we have to understand these people are ill and in a time of need, and they're taking their money. Take it. Now they can't even live a decent life because they have all these medical bills. Now they have to file bankruptcy because they can't afford it. Like that. Anyway, people, life isn't hard. They're just simple choices. And you have to make the most loving ones. And sometimes it may seem like you're not getting what you used to get, and that is true. You won't get what you used to get for the most part, because not everyone can accept truth. Not everyone can accept love. Not everyone can accept the change. So, these people, I don't know. Whew. That's it. That's all I got, people. So just understand that if you can. All right. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye now.